Hey, my name is Jared Moon, and I'm part of a group of underground athletes you've probably never even heard of before. We don't rely on fancy equipment for training, and most of us don't even have gym memberships. In fact, our motivation comes from within. You see, we have jobs, families, and responsibilities, but we still have big goals, and they aren't getting achieved at a global gym. For that reason, we have to do things differently. Our training has to be smarter. We don't have every piece of equipment known to man or a ton of time to train, and we don't need it, because we are achieving amazing things without it. So how do we do it? If you ask your average personal trainer or gym goer, they'd call us crazy. Yet we're seeing results better than most every single day. And it's happening by blending mental training with physical training and becoming an athlete. What we call, and welcome to, Garage Gym Athlete.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. Jared Moon here. With me is Joe Courtney. What's up, Joe?
Hey, Jared.
And we have Sean McCool. Hey, man, how you doing?
Hey, good.
Love the name. I've always been a fan. Cool, dude. Well,
I've always wondered if that was like some people put like different names on Facebook, like just to have, and I don't know if that was actually real.
No, it's actually a real thing. I took a stand-up comedy class last year, and I actually did my set on how people say that about my name all the time, like that's a made-up name, or oh, it's so cool, or
You're original.
Yeah.
I resisted saying it's a cool name. Like when I commented on your name, I was like, "Don't say it's cool. Don't say it's cool. Just say you like the name." All right. Well,
Yeah.
well, let's. I'm gonna let you take it from here, man. If you could just give us a quick intro, who you are, what you do for a living, and how you train.
Yeah. So, Sean McCool, obviously we just covered that, but I have two main careers that I do. I'm a coach for Christian entrepreneurial men. Helping them live with wisdom, wealth, and courage every area of their life. And then I'm also a copywriter where I work for clients kind of behind the scenes, writing their marketing copy and things like that. So those are my two big things that I do. And then as far as working out, is that what we're talking about next?
Yeah. How do you train, and where do you train? Because I know you're not in the garage, but I'd love to hear about kind of your setup and everything.
Yeah, so I actually just joined Planet Fitness last week because I found out they have a red light therapy machine when you get their black card.
Nice.
And it's only $21 with the black card, and you can use the red light therapy unlimited. So I just joined there, and it's about 3 miles closer to my house than my other gym. So I do some of the stuff some days there. If I want to do treadmill, that kind of stuff, I use Planet Fitness because they've got 10 million treadmills and art trainers and everything else. So I go there to kind of do that. And then I have another gym called Armor Gym, which is a really cool gym that's kind of got kind of a bodybuilder station, then it's got a powerlifting section of the gym, and then it's got kind of the CrossFit, overall general fitness area with the rigs, and it's got a nice 50-meter turf track inside that you can run, do sprints and sled pushes on. And then they even have like an outdoor Venice Beach type area you can work out when it's nice outside. So
Nice.
That's a pretty cool setup. So between those two, and then I'm here in East Tennessee across the mountains from you, Jared. And so I've got the same, kind of the other side of the mountains. So there's a lot of opportunity here around the neighborhood to go walking and running up and down the hills.
Yeah, and somehow you can get in positions where you can only go uphill, and it's that's really cool, man. And so you're kind of splitting your time between the two gyms, and I know you train with us. You're on the shred track. Are you on the shred track?
Right.
Yeah, and how do you find doing that? Our style of training, I would say, which for anyone listening is just more athletic based at these two different gyms. Do you feel like fit in pretty well, or are there any challenges, or what?
No, I think Armor Gym, because there's a lot of CrossFit type people that go there that can't do the I mean, I did CrossFit for 5 years. And I started running this to the problem. I just couldn't make the schedule work, consistently. So, because, you have set hours for CrossFit classes. So I see a lot of the people at the Armor Gym that are in that, and they have that whole section that's the type of people that work out there. So it's not weird or anything like that. It actually fits in. And I mean, I could never do it at Planet Fitness. Like, it just wouldn't work. I did work out the other day that was, the bench Smith machine, but they don't have, barbells. So I use dumbbells instead, because they do actually go up to like 120 pounds on dumbbells, which surprised me.
Oh, nice.
So
have you gotten the lunk alarmed?
It's able to fit in. It's when, the tough part about having that is if there's a meet yourself Saturday, like an Iron Mile, then I don't have a bar or the piece of equipment to do that here at the house. So that's where I miss out on some of that stuff by not having that equipment.
It's funny.
They don't like you in that gym, like walking out the door with their barbell and weights.
I've always heard that people are like, they think I'm taking it, but I've also got complaints from garage gym athletes like, wait, you just want me to walk around my neighborhood like a crazy person? I'm like, where else are you gonna do it? Like, there's no other place you're gonna walk a mile with a barbell on your back and not get a funny look. But yeah, Jim's
actually
kind of
did it on a treadmill.
Yeah, I don't recommend it. Just anyone out there, don't do the Iron Mile on the treadmill, even though it can be done. All right, man. I want to hop back a step here. So you mentioned getting that membership primarily for the red light therapy access. So what has you interested in red light therapy?
Just another way to recover. I'm 47, so I'm looking for edges and that kind of stuff on how to recover better. And I'm just, I'm interested in that kind of stuff like you are. I love the science and all that stuff behind it. I'd looked into red light therapy in the past. It was like $40 to $60 per session. And a lot of times it was just like, a smaller thing. This is a full booth with a vibration plate at the bottom too. So you get some of that. So it's kind of cool. And for the price, I was like, it's a no-brainer. So, and they also have massage tape, the water jet massage beds there and all kinds of stuff. So you can just have you can have a spa day without ever going to work out.
I was gonna say, you could just get a membership just for recovery, not even work out there.
Yeah, you really could. I mean, at $20, yeah, you could.
Yeah, when I used to work in Globo gyms, specifically Lifetime Fitness is the gym I worked in for a long time, there would be days I'd go, I'd be there for like 2 hours and there'd be no workout involved. It was like a hot tub, steam room, all I'm not gonna lie, all that stuff's awesome. It's just a matter of time before I outfit my house in add-ons to have all of that, just to make it.
Yeah, the other thing, like a Juve light, which is the red light that hangs on the wall.
Yeah,
those things are like $3,000.
Yeah,
so I was like, that's not happening anytime soon. So
I've actually been talking with those guys. I'm gonna have them on the podcast soon, just to talk about red light therapy and stuff. I don't actually have one yet. I've been looking at it though, like you said, because they have like a small model, right?
Right.
That's a little bit more affordable, and then they have the $3,000 one, then $1,000 one. It seems like a reasonable price if it's something that, like, say you do it for, I don't know, a year at Planet Fitness, and you're like, you know what, red light therapy is very beneficial for me, and I'm gonna do it for a long time. Maybe think about investing one, but they are crazy expensive. Or you could do I don't know if you saw my DIY version I've been using for a while with just red lights and heat lamps and stuff like that. That's an option, but sometimes I question the efficacy compared to like a legitimate product or something that is not DIY.
Whether it's not, it's supposed to be within that 600 to 800 range or
right,
something.
Yeah. But there's a ton of research, as you said, just to kind of bring that full circle on athletic recovery, like big time, helping athletes. So that's really cool that you're interested in that. All right, man. So what are some of your goals right now as a garage gym athlete, or athlete, should I say, in general?
Yeah, well, I'm 6'1", I'm 210, 24% body fat, and I want to get down to 13.5%. So I don't really care about the weight. So wherever we end up there is fine. And if the weight goes up with added muscle, I'm guessing it's probably going to be around 185 based on current, body fat and all that. But if I keep adding muscle, it'll probably end up, being 195 or something, which would be fine. So that's my main goal as far as, just overall body composition. And then from there, it is to continue to get stronger. Flexibility is like really important to me. Like I do other stuff outside of the programming. I do some Hindu squats, Hindu push-ups, all that kind of stuff to add in the flexibility. I've loved the kettlebell flows lately. I think that's kind of cool for mobility and stuff too. So just as I had a coach tell me one time, he's like, the purpose of fitness to him was to not feel his body like throughout the day, like to not even notice it.
Right.
Like that would be the ideal. Like I don't even notice my body most of the day. Sounds kind of weird, but if you think about it, it makes sense. You shouldn't have to. It's like your car. If it's working well, you don't ever think about it.
That's how I always describe shoes. People ask me a lot of questions about like what kind of shoes are the best, and I'm like, whichever shoes you don't have to think about when they're on your feet. Like
right.
you shouldn't be like, oh, well, it kind of feels weird on the outside, or yeah, I'm really aware of it being like tight laces. No, like the best shoe, you have no idea they're really on, and you're just you're doing your thing in them. But I agree with that. That's a good approach to fitness and keeping mobile. And the kettlebell flows are a lot of fun. Luckily, nobody's gotten injured because we got off that sagittal plane and went to the transverse plane. And, everyone's been good so far. I haven't heard any complaints. I'm glad that you like them, man. And you're joining us in Asheville for the Spartan race, man. I'm excited. So why did you decide to pull the trigger, and have you done a Spartan race before?
I've not done a Spartan race. I did a small, local mud run in Chattanooga a couple of years ago. That was a lot of fun. I was in the military, so I've done basic training, obstacle courses, and all that kind of stuff, and I enjoyed that. I don't think I'll ever do a marathon or anything like that. But this kind of stuff intrigues me. I would just get bored to death on a 26-mile run. I would just go nuts. It would not be as much physical as it would mental for me. That would just be crazy. The training to do it too would be tough. I know you did it without that, but I just wouldn't want to. So.
Yeah.
But
I did it half, and it was boring enough.
Yeah, it's just not my thing. But doing 20 obstacles over 8 to 12 miles or whatever, that just sounds, that's up my alley. I enjoy being out in the woods and hiking and all that kind of stuff. So that type of movement, I just enjoy more. I enjoy feeling the rocks under my feet and the different terrain and all that kind of stuff. And probably because I grew up in the mountains in Northeast Georgia as a kid, so I was always running up mountains and all that stuff. So it's probably primed in me very early age.
Yeah, and it sounds like, just kind of hearing you talk about things, that you are, I'd say you're a little bit more into health and fitness than other athletes. Like, you're getting into red light therapy. You really like the science behind things, and talking about Hindu squats and making sure you're mobile. So where did you kind of pick that up? Is that something that fitness and health have always been important to you, or was there a certain thing or a certain time period that it became important? What spurred this for you?
Yeah, I'm a lifelong learner, as a coach, and I kind of believe in a holistic approach, to that everything kind of works together. And then right after military, I got out of the military. I put on 30 pounds. I was in the old guard up in D.C., so we did all the ceremonies in Arlington Cemetery and all that stuff, old guard. And we ran all the time. We were out in the sun all the time. I was 6'1", 156 pounds. And within 30 days of getting out of the military, I was 175. And I didn't do anything, I did occasional stuff, but I had no program or routine for decades. And then, when I turned, I guess really around 40, I got serious again. I joined CrossFit and I started doing all that, and I've been consistent ever since. But I've always loved the why behind things, not just fitness, but just kind of everything. I like to know why things work and kind of all that. So I've always just read the books around that stuff and wanted to know just the different ways you could do things. So it's just a general curiosity to have. Part of that, is my copywriting training as well, being curious about different things. So I'll get on a tangent and go read all kinds of stuff and see where it leads and just enjoy that stuff. So it's just kind of a hobby for me to research and do that stuff. It's fun.
That's awesome, man. So, military, then transition. So primarily more athletic style happened, you say, about 7 years ago. You turned 40, and then 5 years of CrossFit. How did CrossFit do for you?
It was good. It got me back into things. I'd not done a lot of barbell work ever. I was very active in high school too. I rode my bike a lot. I played football, basketball. track. So I was real active in high school. Military just kind of ripped the spirit of working out right out of me. And when I didn't have to do it anymore, I just didn't. So, but I kind of found that athlete when I went to CrossFit. I kind of so that was fun to go back into that, and learned a lot of stuff about the Olympic lifts, and most of the CrossFit gym owners that I've been with anyway, also really get into a lot of the other parts of fitness. So hanging around those people was always good, and I always went to I've always gone to noon class because I work from home, and I found that group of people tends to be more entrepreneurial, just because obviously if they're there in the middle of the day, they've got the time and the flexibility and that kind of stuff. And a lot of the people I've met at that time slot have seemed to have the same kind of interest too. So we were always talking about that stuff. So CrossFit was just a good way to rekindle everything for me and learn new skills. And when I started, I couldn't do a pull up, couldn't do, there's a lot of stuff I couldn't do. And, over time, I was able to, 2 years ago, I did Murph. I didn't do Murph last year because I think we were out of town at the beach or something. But, I did Murph 2 years ago with the vest in like 48 minutes. So that was in 4 or 5 years. That's pretty amazing. So, but mainly it's just staying in shape, being stronger, honestly, looking better than most people my age, being in better shape than anybody in my family by a long shot. My family does not have a history of working out or taking care of themselves. Most of my family's in very poor shape. So that's another reason I continue to work out, because I don't want to end up like my dad, who's 300. He's 6'4", 320 pounds. Heart, quadruple bypass, bad knees, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, so man, that's a pretty good motivating factor right there.
Yeah.
And so, what would you say the accomplishment you are most proud of since you kind of rekindled your athletic spirit?
Tell you I'll put it in terms of kind of probably one of my favorite workouts, which is McGee, which is the deadlifts, push-ups, and box jumps.
I've done it, but it's been a while. But yeah.
Yeah, so it's as many rounds as possible, I think, in 30 minutes of 5 deadlifts at 275, 12 or 13 push-ups. I can't remember the exact, it's based on the date. Yeah. So 12 or 13 push-ups and then like 9 box jumps. You just cycle through that. So, and I was able to do that RX and hit like 16 rounds. So there's a lot of, that's a total body type thing. You can lift heavy, do the push-ups, do the box jumps for the explosion. To me, that was one of my favorite accomplishments as far as a workout goes.
That's awesome, man. And that is quite impressive, being able to do that. It's not lightweight. It takes a lot of athleticism, and as well as finishing Murph with a vest in under 50 minutes is that's a pretty solid accomplishment. Like that, you've come a long way, which is awesome, man. So congrats on putting in the work.
If I can get that run, if I can get back down to the 185 or that body fat we were talking about earlier, I could probably chop 6 or 8 minutes off that just on the run. Yeah, run is still my nemesis.
I think you could get sub 40. Takes a little while, but I think you could get it.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude. Well, what's the hardest workout you've ever done?
I remember you asked this in the Facebook group one time, and I'd have to go all the way back to high school, and it would be 660 repeats that I used to do it in track. So we do a 600, back then it was yards. So it was a lap and a half around the track, sprint, then a 220 jog back to the start line, do it again. It was like, I don't know, it was like 3 sets of 3 or something like that would be an hour's worth of track practice, or, and that was one of the hardest, just because that distance it's just brutal. That was a brutal distance to run that hard at.
660 meters. That is, because the 400's bad, but it's over relatively fast. 800's like the worst, but it's really only the worst if you're in incredible shape. And so 660 is like really like, that's just bad. It's just
because you can still kind of sprint all out for most of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is like you want to keep a 400-meter pace for 660,
Exactly.
but you end up falling off a little bit, and that's where the suckiness of the workout's going to come in.
Yeah, because I ran 800 in high school, and that's probably the hardest race I think in all of track is the 800.
Yeah, sprinting a half mile is just insane.
It's that last 100 to 200 meters is just the worst. I mean, it's just so you imagine you're basically what you're doing with the 660 is you're going right up to that point where your legs don't want to go anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and you're stopping and recovering, and then you're getting right up to it. So it's almost like going, just to this side of failure, and then doing that just over and over for, all those laps. So that was probably the hardest I've ever done.
Well,
Yeah, makes sense.
Solid contender. All right, so in your opinion, what's the best activity for building mental toughness?
For me right now, running any kind of distance at all is just that's where my mental seems to be weakest. Just this week when we've done the 30-minute runs and that just, for me, for whatever reason, the running is just really mentally challenging right now. That's definitely the biggest, from a fitness standpoint, one of the biggest mental challenges right now.
Yeah, that's what do you think it is? Like the boredom, the holding a pace, like where do you feel like getting started? What is it about the run that just like tears you down?
It's I think it's that first mile.
Yeah.
That's always the toughest because your heart rate spikes up, you got your whole system's kind of in shock, and then, you settle into that. Of course, it doesn't help here that every, quarter mile there's a new hill or something. So just right when you think you're getting into, a nice steady state, it's like, we got to go up. I've got a 1K lap I do here in the neighborhood, and it's, one half of it is all uphill and the other half's kind of downhill. Then you get right back to the uphill. So every half kilometer or so you're going uphill, pretty steep, about 8% grade. So that's part of it. But yeah, the boredom of it, and then just that initial shock that you go through every time you start running is just, I don't like it. It's funny, I'll push that with deadlifts or anything else, but with running, for whatever reason, I don't like it. It just, part of it's the weight pounding on my legs and, body and stuff like that. So maybe when I drop some more of this weight, maybe it'll come back to me, because I loved it in high school. I loved it.
Yeah, I've gone through phases with running. It's like, it's definitely a love-hate relationship, but not, it's like periods of time. There'll be like 3 solid years where I love running, and then a year of hating running and trying to avoid it. It's just, it really is a love-hate thing with me as well.
Yeah, and I don't think it's just the time or the boredom, because I love riding bike. Like I have a road bike, and I've done that. I've done the 100K or the 100K and the 100-mile century rides, up in Gettysburg, and never did the Wichita Hotter Than Hell. Never did that one, but I've done some up here on the East Coast and up in Maryland and other places. So I don't think it's that, because that's sitting on a bike for 6 or 8 hours, and I was fine with that. Yeah. So it's just something about the run. You can't coast when you're running, at least on a bike.
Yeah. That's the unfortunate part about running. There's no letting the gears spin,
yeah, exactly.
All right, man, if you could only have one piece of equipment to train with for the rest of your life, what would it be?
I was thinking about this. I actually like the mace.
Okay.
10 to 12 pound mace. You can run with it. You can do squats with it. You can, all kinds of different variations of squats. You can just swing it around and feel cool while you're swinging it around.
Yeah, you hit things with it if you want to get some anger out.
Yeah, hit the tires with it. I mean, just, and a lot of different variations too. The, grave digger, sledgehammer, all kinds of stuff. So, I mean, it's relatively easy to carry around, fairly mobile. Probably not going to carry it through an airport or anything, but, other than that, it's
Probably frowned upon.
Put most of it in your backpack, just leave it hanging out a little bit.
Yeah, it's actually funny because every once in a while I'll throw in my vest and walk the neighborhood with my vest and the mace, and that looks pretty weird. It looks like you're carrying a shotgun with a vest.
Yeah, be careful, man. I often worry about stuff like that, getting dropped by going by the wrong person's house and the wrong exercise equipment.
Yeah.
All right, man.
The base part forward so people can see that it's a strange look.
And it doesn't have spikes.
Gun.
Spray paint an orange tip on it.
Yeah, that's the safety run, right?
Yeah.
Or blue.
Yeah.
So I guess this would be a little bit more different for you, but if you could suggest one thing to the two gyms that you go to, whether it be your recovery gym or your actual workout gym, what would it be? What would be something that you would want them to add to? If that makes sense.
Probably like a marked outdoor track, like a 400, 800 meter route, either through the parking lot or through, around the building or something like that. That was marked.
Level
that would
ground.
be very helpful. Like most CrossFit gyms, they have a 400 and 800 meter route, when you're there. Whereas most gyms don't. So that would be one thing. I'm telling you, the one gym I go to, Armor Gym, they have just about everything you could want. I haven't had anything. They've got yokes, they've got sleds, they've got everything. So that's awesome. They have ropes and tires and sledgehammers. I can't think of anything they don't have that you'd want. So that, I can get just about anything done I want done there, other than like I said, taking the stuff out and back, on a run or something like that.
Awesome, dude. Well, got a lot of garage gym athletes listening to this, so what would your best advice be for them?
Well, we didn't get into this, but as you guys know, I quit. I was doing garage gym programming, and then I quit for a little while, went back to CrossFit because I just kind of missed the camaraderie of the CrossFit.
Yeah.
But what was interesting is when I went back after having been on your programming for a cycle or two, I realized how much standing around we were doing in that hour at CrossFit, and compared to how much work we're getting done with Garage Gym, and that was pretty striking to see the difference. So then I came back over here. So to answer your question, my advice would be don't stop. I took about 6 weeks off over the winter this year. I just got burned out from having done CrossFit for 4 or 5 years. And then, I just kind of hit a block. So I took about 6 or 8 weeks off, and coming back obviously, sucks. So, especially the heavy lifts and all that kind of stuff, because you start feeling those. So yeah, just don't stop, but at the same time, don't beat yourself up if you miss a day or miss 2 days, here and there. You just get right back on and keep going. The programming works, even at 3 days a week, it works. Obviously if you can do 4 or 5, then that's great, but, and recover. Like that's one thing with the CrossFit culture I did not like, is it was too much all the time. Mm-hmm. Even though that's not the way it was designed from the beginning. The design has days off built in it, but the culture is, go hard all the time, it's all out all the time, every day you're there. And I love the way you guys vary up the programming to where some days it's almost like, am I working hard enough? But it's a different energy system, and you talked about that. And so being okay with that is a big part of the, setting your ego aside and just being okay with the programming the way it is. That I don't have to go like crazy on the days that's not required. On the days that are hard, go hard. On the days that are a little bit more, or a different energy system or whatever, like doing we did the 2 30-minute runs the other day, and you mentioned that should be at like 70%, heart rate. That's actually not that hard. It's actually hard to stay that low. You have to actually slow down and things like that. So, but following that programming is don't stop, and then follow the programming the way it's written. Don't try to improve it or anything else.
Awesome, Sean. Well, I certainly agree with that. And I appreciate the kind words about the programming, man. We do put a lot of thought and effort into it. But I do appreciate your time more than anything else, and sitting down with us today and having a chat, man. Thanks for being on the podcast.
Yeah, enjoyed it.